I remember back when I was a youngster, the old fella and my mother, they were going to my godfather's wedding. And as they were leaving, my father says to me, he says, Mikey, keep an eye on the old cattle while we're gone. I says, I will, says I. So it was the fall, and I used to like to do a little bit of hunting, so I figured once my father's gone, I'll go duck hunting. So off I go, and it was a cold day. There wasn't many ducks around, and just as I was getting ready to leave, I got one shot off, but I didn't. They were too far away. I didn't get nothing. So home I come after an hour or so. So I wander up the field to take a look at the cattle to see how they'll be doing, and just if there wasn't a little caffeine laying on the ground, and I walked over to him, and the poor fella was panting. So I said, oh shit, I'm friggin' worried. I worried that the poor thing was going to die. So I went up to the neighbours. They had a phone, and I figured I'd call Harry Moffat. And but just when I went up, who was at their house but Harry Moffat were looking at their cattle. So I asked him if he'd come down, and he came down with me, and he took a look at him, and he said, oh, he might have a touch of pneumonia. He said, if your father had a bottle of punching, give him a couple of jouts of it, it would warm him up, and it would do him good. So the old fellow used to always keep a little bottle of punching in the room. So I run down the house like the Meltons of hell for the house. I grabbed the bottle, and up I come to the calf, and I gave him a good jolt to it. He drank probably half the bottle down his gullet. And I was rubbing him for a while. It seemed like it did him good. So then I came back down to the house. I figured I'll have a cup of tea, and I'll go back up and I'll check on him. So I had my cup of tea, and I went back up the field, and before I got to where he was already running around. And I said, oh, by the Jesus Christ, I clapped the hands. I said, oh, that's freaking great. So down again I came. I said, I'm going to say a prayer now. My mother used to always have a bottle of holy water in the house. I said, I'm going to bless myself and say a prayer. And by the Jesus, I did. My prayer wording wasn't perfect, but I said a few words, and that was that. And then later on in the evening, my father and mother came home, and my father liked to have that little. He'd always have a cup of tea when he'd come home, and sometimes in the evening he'd put a little shotting of punching in it. So my father and mother come home, and they were sitting down, and I said I'll throw on the teapot and make us all some tea. And I gave them their cups of tea, and my father said, will you get my bottle, and we'll have a little shotting of punching in our tea. So I bring the bottle out to my father, and I'm right by my father, kneeling down and pouring a little drop in his drink. And he said, were you drinking? And I said, no, I wasn't. He said, I can smell my punching. And frig me if I didn't grab the wrong bottle. Instead of grabbing the bottle of punching to bring up to the little caffeine, if I didn't grab my mother's holy water and brought him up. So the little fregger, he drank half a bottle of it. So maybe the holy water worked, and I came down, and instead of blessing myself with the friggin' holy water, I blessed myself with my father's punching.